Please, if at any point in time you can't hear me, just try to draw my attention back. Okay. So back to what I was trying to say. Last week, if you were in the class, or even if you're not in class, if you followed up with what we discussed, we talked about Windows operating system, different version of Windows operating system. We talked about the kernel mode, the user mode, and then we talked about what the operating system actually does, how the operating system is able to control hardware. Right? For example, you have a system, a computer is just, you bring different components that can do different things. One can store information, the other one can process information faster and all that. So when you bring them together, the operating system sits on top of it and then is able to control it. So the operating system has the power to shut down a hardware. It's a piece of software, but it can also shut down a hardware. That's how powerful operating systems are. So one important thing we mentioned in the last class was HAL. I don't know who can remember the meaning of HAL. Who recalls the meaning of HAL? HAL. You can put it in the chat. We talked about it in the last class. HAL. HAL. Okay. So in Windows, HAL is what we call the hardware abstraction layer. So it's able to abstract the hardware, right? When it abstracts that hardware, then you can now, with a stroke of the key on the keyboard, communicate with the hardware and do whatever you want to do. That's how Windows operates. And Windows is owned by a company. So a company owns Windows. That is it. But then there's a sharp difference between Windows and Linux. A sharp difference between Windows and Linux. So Linux is different. Linux is what we're open source, right? So who knows the meaning of open source? When you hear the word open source, what comes to your mind? Who understands the meaning of open source? I want someone to unmute and speak. If you hear open source, what comes to your mind? That something is open
Open
source.
source,
Yeah.
open source is file or directory that is easily attended to by people over the internet. That it can be used by anybody. The
It
file
can be what? I didn't get you.
can be used. It can be used by anyone connected to the internet.
Okay. You have an idea. Does anybody have something else to say? Open source.
Okay. Open source is the one that the source code can be modified to suit
Yeah, Pascal, I love that. You use the word source code can be modified. Very good. So I think that's a good one. Donatus, do you want to say something? You're muted.
I'm the one that said that.
Oh, it's Donatus that said that. Oh, sorry. Pascal wanted to say something. Okay, Pascal, you can mute your mic. So Linux is open source. When we say Linux is open source, it means that it was designed such a way that everybody can modify the operating system. You cannot modify the operating system of Windows because Windows is not open source. Windows is what we call proprietary. And because it's proprietary, the founders they have sway over it, right? They don't allow any and anyhow person to, have access to it. So you must be employed by Microsoft before you can be able to have access to their backend code. That's the major difference. And because it is open source, you you don't have to pay for it. It's free, right? It's very free. You don't have to pay for it. You just come, you take the code. That's if you know what you're doing. So you design the code and use it. It's free. However, the beauty about it is that you can pick up the code, the source code, and then tailor it to your own needs. That is why it becomes very, very beautiful. Tailor it to your own needs. So if you're working in an SOC setting, for example, you can just come, design your own, get the source code, do it to your own need. Let it be very, very, very beautiful. That's the beautiful thing about having open source codes. So Linux make their own open source. Windows is not open source. Windows you have to pay. Linux is free, forever free. I hope that's clear. I know some of you have had free now. You are very, very happy, right? So you should not be fearing to, if you download Linux, you want to crack it. And no, it's not necessary, right? So, but then because of Linux is free, people now come together and create what they call Linux distribution. So for example, Linux is free to the extent that it allows me to modify the source code. Can I come and say, okay, let us create our own Linux, our own, what we call it is flavor, or our own design of our own Linux, because I can design the code to be whatever I want. We now create our own design of Linux. It has become my own property. The original source code is still there, but that one I've created has become something unique. I will now call it my own name. Say Favor Linux, right? So that's why we have many distributions of Linux. We have Red Hat, we have Ubuntu, we have Fedora, we have SUSE Linux. There are many. There's Parrot. There is a operating system with Linux flavor are in abundance, right? So that's the beauty of it. And another thing is that because it's open source, anybody can edit it. Millions of people around the world are always working on it and are always seeing security bug. Do you understand that? So if you bring it in a closed enclosure like Windows system, before they even see the security bug, it's a problem, right? But Linux, once they push it on GitHub, it will not pass security checks because there are millions of engineers out there that understand Linux very well and will spot the weakness in it before it goes out there, especially at the kernel level. Because once you get control of the kernel, you have gotten control of the whole system. So that is why Linux is very, very cool, very important. So I believe we've already touched our this thing. So today I'll be sharing my screen. I will not use my CyberOps lab because I don't have access to it on this machine. However, I have another virtual machine that we can share and use and learn some things about this. Please, if you can see my screen, tell me. Can we all see my screen? Can you see my screen?
Yes, we can see.
Yes, we can.
Okay. So let's just look at basic commands when you have Linux. So I don't know, this course did not teach you how to install from scratch. So it's asking me to update. Remind me later, please. I don't want this one. Here was a machine I used to have. Okay, let me look at this one. So I have a virtual machine here on my VMware, and I've already installed this. The process of installation is not part of it. If you look at the details here, the memory is 4 gig. The processor, I put 2 processors. I allocated 20 gig of my hard disk, 20 gig of my hard disk to this. The type I just the location is here. The network adapter, I used the network address translation. These are just basic something, but if you are used to it, you will know. So the first thing you do is to power on your virtual machine. Now your CyberOps, it will ask you for your username. I believe you know your username and your password already. Am I right? Let me look at what you're saying here. We know our username and password already. So if you are logging in to your CyberOps lab, you know your username, your password, you just log in. So let's go back to what I was doing. So once it boots up, you'll be able to see it's booting. You can see this is a different one. This is a different flavor from the one that CyberOps gave you. Yeah, this is a different flavor from the one that CyberOps gave you. Normally, what CyberOps did for you is they made it easy for you, right? Made it very easy. So they don't want you to stress yourself to go and start installing it by yourself. So they have done all the installation for you. They just brought the package file and tell you to download and import. That's an easier way. But if you want to learn how to do it yourself, you have to go and download the disk image. Then if you download the disk image, you now come and install it on your virtual machine yourself. Might take you maybe 45 minutes, but you'll learn a lot and you learn about computers. So let me log in normally. So yeah, I mean, you can see my screen. You can see my file system, different from your own. So you use the terminal emulator and then you can start working, right? So one of the things you have to just learn is you have to understand the system. You have to understand the system you are working with. Unlike Windows, this is my Windows machine. You click buttons. You want to open this folder, you click this folder, it opens. It's not usually the same in Linux, right? It's not usually the same in Linux. Though these days they have started making versions of Linux that allows you to click, but it's not still a common thing. The reason when you are writing commands here, it is easier and faster when you're writing a command here, because any command you write on this terminal, any command you write, let me make it bolder. Any command you write on this terminal goes straight to the kernel. But if you are using a GUI or a graphic user interface, by the time you click, it adds complexity, right? So that complexity, we don't want it, especially when we are designing SOC labs. We don't want it. So usually you, for example, if you don't know the root or wherever you are, you can just ask yourself PWD. So PWD is one of the basic commands you need to know. PWD means print working directory. So print working directory means tell me which directory I am in now. So by the time you print it, it's telling you that, oh, you're in your home directory. Please, if you don't understand anything I'm saying, call my attention back, right? That's the essence of this class. It just to give you a feel of Linux and what it is. So if you are not getting anything I'm saying, you can always call me back. So this is how it works. So it means that you see the result here. I want you to be able to, when you see the result, you're able to understand it in your own time. This last place now, this favor here is the directory I am in currently. but this directory is in another directory called home. That's how it works. So if I create a new user in Linux, once I'm done creating the new user, if I create it by default, Linux creates a home directory for that user. That's how Linux works. Oh, there are two terminals open. Okay, let me use this one I'm using. Linux creates a home directory, and that home directory will be inside home/, right? So if I say, what are the content of this directory? Remember, when we were doing Windows, we did dir. Dir should also work in Linux. It works here, right? When we were doing in Windows, we wrote dir. So I think /r, okay, cannot work it. So I don't like my terminal being messy. I can clear it. dir also works here. But what we usually do for Linux is ls. ls means list. Now that I list it, what do you see? You are seeing that everything is in blue. Once you see anything in blue, it means that that's another directory. So document is a directory, download is a directory, music is a directory, pictures is a directory, public is a directory, template is a directory, videos is a directory. So these are basic commands. However, this may not reflect everything that is in it. May not give you proper information of all these directories. So for you to know proper information of all these directories, you can write ls-l. Yeah, someone wants to ask a question? Okay, back to business. So ls-l means list it in long format, show more information about everything. So when you do that, you see it's telling you total we have in this directory is 32. Now if you look at this now, you see that the first directory is showing you more information about it, right? It's showing you, yeah. Go on.
Oh, thank you. I'm
Yeah?
asking you, just to remind you.
If the class is what?
Is it recorded? Like, if it's been recorded.
Yes, it's recorded. It's recorded. Yes, yes. Somebody saying something? Permissions. Oh, we'll get there. A lot of things to learn in Linux. It's very fun. Right? So I just want to explain everything. So we have the and all these things. All these things they're not joke. They're telling you specific information about this file. First of all, if you look, the name of the file is desktop. Or directory is desktop. And one way to know that is a directory, you look at this first thing here, you can see that D is telling you that this is what? A directory. The first letter there is D, is a directory. See this here? It's telling you the day it was created and the time. So it was created June 25th, 1507. That's the time it was created. Because that was the time I created that user. 4096 is telling you the size of the file. So 4096 bytes. Right? This is the person that created it, and this is the person that has access to it, right? Then what's this number? I will come back to this number. Then remember this first one now, D represents a directory. Then ROWX, R-X, R-X talks about the permissions on this directory. So permission is very important thing. Very important concept. Many people don't get it earlier, but I will explain it, and I will explain it using. Let me use my notepad and create something. Notepad and explain. So we have ROWX. I'll take time to explain. These are the basics. So if you see R stands for read. W stands for write. X stands for execute. So the highest permission is execute. So when you say you can read a file, means that you can only see the content of the file, meaning you can just read it. So when it means W means you can write, meaning you can see the content of the file and you can also edit the files. That's what I mean by write permission. X means execute. So if you are writing scripts, you can not only just see, right? So if you have execute permission, depending, it means that you can execute. Sometimes I can give you a read permission and I will remove the write permission and give you execute. What it means that I have created this file, I have created this script. I don't want anybody to edit it. So anything is possible in Linux. So for example, now let me explain what you are seeing here now. So you are seeing this. Let's look at this. Okay, hold on. Let me copy this. Let's go to our notepad so that I'll explain this. After that, then we'll go and look at other interesting concepts. So here we have D. We already know that D represents directory, right? D represents directory. So the first thing we see here is arrow WX, arrow dash X, arrow dash X. So arrow WX means that the first three this thing represents the owner of the file. This is for the owner's permission. Let me use the word owner's permission. This one represents group's permission. Why this one represents other people's permission. So in this case, the owner has read, write, and execute. The group where the owner belongs to, other people in that same group can only read and execute this file. Other people also can only read and execute. They cannot write, meaning that they cannot edit what is inside it. That's just what this is trying to tell you. That's the explanation. So the same thing with all of them. This is read, write, execute, read, execute, read, execute. That's how it works. Is there any question based on that? Any question? If you have any question, you can, ask me. I'll explain. So please, just if you don't understand anything, you can call me back. So I'm just busy explaining
I wanted to ask that.
yeah. So yeah.
I wanted to ask that if I'm
What?
using a Windows laptop,
Yes.
and is it possible for me to install the Linux version of the OS? Okay.
Call what?
Uh,
Let me get you.
yeah, if I'm using Windows, can I still install Linux on it? Or it's not possible that way?
That is why you have a virtual box now, right? You have what we call a hypervisor. I explained this in our first meeting. You have a hypervisor. So this
Sorry,
computer I'm using
I
is a
just
Windows.
joined. Sorry, I just joined
Okay.
the course now. I've been doing my personal study. Why you said that we are in Module 4, I was kind of surprised. I know that something is going on like that, but I just trying to the way you are explaining now. I just wanted to know, but if you have said like that, if I have
So
my
what
own.
what so you can get clarification. You can go and watch our first day video, right? You see I explained that there. So my computer is a Windows machine, right? But I'm running Linux on it. That's because of I have a hypervisor. So this is a Linux setting. Why this is normal Windows? So it's possible. The same thing, you can also run Windows in a Linux setting. I hope that's clear. So back to this now. But there's also another more powerful command that you can use to know everything. So if I want to create a file in Linux, right, I can say, let's say touch. To create a file, the command uses touch. So I can say touch test.txt. So this is an empty file, right? If I list it, if I say ls, you will see that this file is listed here. If I want to remove it, I'll say rm. Rm means remove test.txt. If you list it again, you will see that test is gone. I'm giving us commands, basic commands we use. If you want to create a directory, you use mkdir. You can create a directory. You say CyberOps. Let's use _d directory. If you list again, you will see CyberOps there. See CyberOps directory there. If you list it in long format, you will see that we created it today. ls-l. Now look at CyberOps here. See the date, August 1st. Right? So it takes note of everything you've done. That's how it works. So if you want to remove a directory now, or you want to delete a directory, you can say rm. I know it will not work, but let's just do it. CyberOps _d. It will say rm cannot remove this. It's a directory. So that means that's not the command to remove it. So to remove a directory, there are two ways. You can say rm dir. That means remove directory. Then you now say CyberOps _d. It deletes it correctly. So if you list it, you will not see that directory again. But however, in works, if I want to create a particular type of file that I don't want people to see, I can hide it. That will call
Yes.
hidden files. Right?
How do
Who is
it?
shouting yes?
You
Oh
say?
my god. Henry, mute. Henry, mute your mic. Henry, please mute your mic. Mute. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear. I'm trying to do that.
Okay. So back to what we're saying. You have you can list it. So if you want to create a hidden file in the system, you can just say, okay, touch. Let's say the name of the file I want to create is test.txt. If you create this file, everybody will see it when they list. But if you want to hide it, you put a dot in front. It has created the file. But if I list it, I will not see that file. So once you put a dot in front, Linux automatically knows that you want this file to be hidden. Even if I say ls-l, the file will not show, because it is what? It is hidden. However, if you want to see all files, including hidden files, there's a command we use. That command is ls-all. So you're now seeing many files you did not see before. Right? You're seeing a file bash logout. Now let's look at that file we created, that test.txt. See it here, hiding here. Right? These are all these that are started with dots. You can see they're all hidden files. They have their own function. If you don't want to write ls-, or you can just say ls-a. It gives you the same results. Now, if you want to list all files in long format, you can say ls-la. It gives you everything. Any question? I believe this is simple. This is very, very easy. Right? Very, very easy. So let's talk about navigation. So if your screen is messy, you don't like everything, you can just say just type clear. Clear, it clears your screen for you. Your screen is back to okay. Normal. So I want to see the way this class is going is like we're enjoying it too. So that's the aim of everything I'm doing here. Just familiarize yourself with CyberOps, your directory. Don't be afraid. If you crash it, you install it again. That's how it works, right? If you do and it spoil, you start afresh. That's how to do the work. So you as you spoil it, you learn. That's how I started. I was spoiling a lot of machines then when I started. So if you look at my own machines, you see these things are machines I've been able to hack before now. Just download and hack the machine and go my way. So now, that's for those that want to do penetration testing. Let's also talk about something. There are other commands we need to know, but let's look at the basic commands. Basic commands in our NetAccount portal. The basic commands we have here, MV. Okay, MV is used to rename a file. Want to rename a file, you can use MV. And I said in the last class that if you don't know anything about any command, you can use the man command, the manual, right? We said if you have any issue, the slogan is always ROTFM. I don't know if any of us remember the meaning of ROTFM. Who remembers the meaning of ROTFM? Based on our last class. You will not see this one in NetAccount portal. That's why you have to come to class sometimes. Who remembers the meaning of ROTFM?
Read the fucking manual.
Exactly, read the manual. So if you don't know anything about any command, you're having issue with any command, just go to the manual. And for example, you know that ls can for example, ls can list, but I don't know how to do it. Just say man ls. It gives you everything, right? If you want to quit, press Q on your keyboard, you quit. But if you type the command man ls, you start reading. Okay, the name ls, you see what does it do? What does it do? List directory content, synopsis, ls option, then you list the file. You tell it the file you want it. You see, we say -a dash all. Do not ignore entries starting with dots, meaning hidden files, right? If you use capital A, you say do not list implied dot and dot. Author dash author with L, print the author of each file. So different ways to do it. You can even put color. That's D. List directories themselves, not their content. Different ways. So a lot of things to learn, but you learn it by practicing. So we have an assignment, very important one that people will do at the end of this class that will help you, become acquainted with this. So anytime you are stuck, please return back to the manual. The manufacturers or the people that created these commands are very good. So another command you can use is chmod, right? File permissions. So let me show you an example of this. So chmod is used to modify file permissions. Okay, let's just read through the basic commands. Change ownership of file. Yes, you can use chown. dd copies data from an input to an output. pwd, we've done pwd, right? pwd means print working directory. ps list processes. So you can play around with all these things. Don't fear. Nothing will happen. PASSWD is to change password. So if I want to change my password now, I'll just write PASSWD. It will ask me what was my initial password. I'll put it. It will ask me password. Ask me again. Put the new password. It will change the password. So that is it. So cat, you want to read a specific. Let's do something. Let me show you many ways of reading from a specific file. So if you have a file, so we don't have a file. Okay, let me do something. PWD states that we are in where? We are in home. Sorry, we are in favor. directory named favor, right? And favor is another directory inside where? Home. If you want to change directory, remember when we did ls, we saw different directories: desktop, document, download. If you want to change directory, you just see this directory to desktop. You see now, the prompt has changed. It's showing me that where? I'm in desktop. I can still say ls here, ls. You see that there's nothing here. Let's see if there's a hidden file. ls-la. There's no hidden file. So that means there's nothing here. But what if I want to go back? Remember that I came from favor to desktop. If I want to go back and I write cd favor where I came from, it will tell me there's no directory like that. So if you are in a child directory and you want to go back to the parent directory, so in this case, remember that we were formerly in, many people find this in a bit difficult, but I just want to use this. We're in home favor. When we did cd desktop, our new location became this home favor and desktop. We just entered the new folder. So we are currently in desktop. So if you want to go back to favor, that means you want to go back to the parent directory. The command to do that is cd ... Right? cd ... is the command to go back. Then if you do that ls again, you see that you have you go back to where you were before. So we can still go backward. You can say cd ... again. We're now in home. You see, showing us home. Right? Then we say ls. We see that the only user on this machine is favor. Apart from the root user, is favor. The only user on this machine is favor. We can still go backward again. cd ... If we say ls, you see now, we are now at the top. We are the top folder. We are the topmost folder. Here you can see all the binaries are here. Boot is here for booting this one is here. For mounting devices is here. For configuration is here. This is our home folder. These are a lot of things we need to know, but it must not be now. For now, you just know that this is the highest you can go. If you do cd ... you're not going anywhere again. It's going to leave you at this point. If you list it, you are still where you are. You are still where you are. So now, if you look, there's a folder here called the root. Right? Let me try and enter the root folder. cd root. What do we see? Permission denied. Do you know why permission was denied? Because I don't have access to the root. So if I say, let me see the permission of the root folder, ls-l, ls-l. If you go to the folder where you see root, you discover that root was created on July 1st. The same size. The person that created this is root. The owner of it is root. Right? It's the number 6. Then if you look at the permissions, what did root say? This is a directory. Root said that only the root user can read, write, and execute. No other person has any permission here. And because I am favor, if you want to know who you are or the user, just say, who am I? It's telling me you are favor. And because I am favor and I'm not the root, that's why it's telling me permission denied. You don't have permission here. So if I become the root, now I can say sudo dash to become the root. It's now asking me for password. It's a command not found. Oh, let me use this one. Correct. So now I'm in there. So you can see that I'm the root user now. And once I change to the root user, it takes me to the root folder immediately. So if I say ls now, and I say cd root, it's not giving me permission issue. I can see once I change to the root user, it's showing me red, meaning anything you do as the root user affects the whole machine. So be careful how you use it. Right? Be careful how you use it. So the root user can go anywhere. Nobody can stop the root user. So if I say cd home, I want to go back to that place where I was. Favor. Okay. So hold on. Yeah, correct. So if I do ls again, I'll still see all this documentary. So now let me create a file. I want to create a file and I want to create a file and say I want to write something. So the file say to do that. Remember when we did it in Windows, we say echo today is Saturday. Then we have to redirect it to the sun. Hello?
Yes, just a quick question.
Yeah.
So the sudo, well, I know that sudo mostly invokes admin rights, but in
Yeah.
that case, the way you use the sudo with the I, is that to say make me admin, or what's the
There are
use?
many ways
How
of
does
yeah. It's the same thing. Make me admin. There are many ways of doing that. So I use sudo -i. There's also
Mhm.
sudo su dash. There are many ways of doing it. Right? There are many ways of doing it. You just want to gain admin right. And that's what attackers do. Right? That's what attackers do. They know they just take advantage of a process and become root user. That's what
Okay.
attackers usually do. So if they look at a process that runs as a root user, they can just trick the process, because once that process runs, it makes them a root user. So if they're able to gain initial access to your computer, they can trick the process and become root users. Especially when you gain a remote code access to your computer. So I hope that's clear. So that's just one way. There are many ways of doing it. I just showed you one way. So I said today is Saturday. .txt. So if we do ls, we'll see the file. This one.txt. If you want to read the file, there are ways of reading it. Say cat this one.txt. You can see it's telling us today is Saturday. Another way is less this one.txt. That's less. You can see less is now showing us in another way. Right? So these are ways you can read files. So I can try to add another line to it. I can say echo. I can say echo a text, say I am happy. I am happy. Just write anything there and say, but if you put, because there was a text already in that same file, if you use one arrow, it will rewrite what was there. It will overwrite what was there. So because you want to add a new line, you have to put double arrow. Double arrow means to append. So you say this one.txt. So if you do the cat again, or yeah, let's use the cat, you will see that it has appended a second line under it. This is how we write to files. So now, but the funny thing about this is that wait on, let me arrange my screen. Let me split left, right. Good. So I want to show us something on permissions, right? So that you understand why permission is a very important thing. Why you have to set your permissions correctly. You see that this user is a root user. Why this one is just the normal favor user I have here. So if I come here and I say let's, I'm seeing, okay, I'm in the root, so I'll go back to my home directory. Another way is to just use this. I think this should take me to my home directory. Yeah. So if I now say ls, I'm seeing this file, this one.txt, right? If I say ls-l, if you look at this one.txt, we can discover that, first of all, there's a dash here indicating that it's not a directory. Second of all, we know that the root user created this file. The root user created this file. He created it today. We can discover that the root user can read this file and write this file. But the root user cannot execute. Right? Somebody's mic is on. Somebody's mic is on. Pascal, mute your mic. Are you asking a question? Okay. Back to business. So, okay. So from our permissions here, we discover that the root user only allows us to read this file. We cannot write the file, meaning we cannot edit, neither can we execute. So if I try to read it, I can ask, this is a different user now from this user here. If I say less dson.txt, of course, I will read it. Right? I'll read it. But let me try to write into it. Let's say echo wow and add to the file. Dson.txt. What did he say? Permission denied. You don't have the permission to do that. So now, the funny thing here is that this folder is my own home folder. But because the root user created the folder, I don't have permission to do it. Now, I can change that. To change permissions, I can do that here. But before I change permissions, I will have to explain something a bit to you guys. Now, when we're talking about read, write, execute, in Linux, read, write, execute is just like turning a bit on and off. Right? So hold on, I like explaining it like this. So anybody that will see this will understand this. Let me increase the view. Okay, this is 100%. Hold on. Please, is anybody understanding what I'm doing here? I just want to make sure that. So we have read, write, and execute. So if I want to give you read permissions, I will turn the read to be 1. If I want to give you write permissions, I'll turn the write to be 1. If I want to give you execute permission, I'll turn execute to be 1. So that means I've given you read, write. So in the machine, what the machine is seeing in the background is 1 for read, 1 for write, 1 for execute. If I want to turn it off, I just give you 0. Right? I give you 0. If I want to give you only read and execute, I'll give you 1 in execute and come to write and give you 0. That's how it works. The same way you can modify, you can manipulate it anyhow. So now, the point now is that if you want to change the permission, we use a command called chmod. Now, looking at this place now, the permissions we have for this file we created here is this. I want us to look at the permission carefully so that, hold on, I didn't copy that. Or I didn't get that well. Okay, let me copy the permissions. So these are the permissions. So remember we said that the first 3 is for the owner of the file, meaning the root user permission in this case. The next 3 is for the group. That is those that have what they call the sudoers. So in this case, what we can notice here that the root has, for read, he has 1. For write, he has 1. But for execute, he has 0. The group where he belongs to, for read, they have 1. for write, they have 0. For execute, they have 0. Orders, for read, they have 1. For write, they have 0. For execute, they have 0. So if the root wants to make us to be able to read it, because we are in the group of orders now, or to write to it, what does it need to do? In this place, it needs to change this side to 1. And if you change that to 1, you will discover that W will appear here. So that's how it works. So once you change this point to 1, W appears there. Then we now know that, okay, we can now read, write. Right? So we use the chmod command to do that. Now, I don't really know how good your mathematics background is, but I will just give you a simple way of doing this. If you want to change permissions, I'll just give you a trick. So when we're in doing our basic mathematics, because all these things are in binary, so you just have to know how to convert from binary to decimal. So, but I'm not here to teach you that one today, right? There are many tools that can teach you that online. So if you see 000, 000 means it is 0, right? 001 means it is 1. 010 is number 2. So we have 011, which is number 3, and we have 100, which is number 4. Then we have 101, which is number 5. Then we have 110, which is number 6. And then we have the highest permissions, 111, which is number 7. So if you look at this 110 now, 110 here, meaning that it is number 6. So the root user gave himself permission 6, gave others permission 4, and gave the group permission 4 and gave others permission 4. Sorry, this was 0 before. So that means their permission was 644. So, but now that we want to change the rules for others in such a way that others can be able to write, we have to change this point to 1, and that means change it to W. And if it becomes 110, the new permission is 6. So that means the root user will now go and write chmod 664 and write the name of the file. Is it 664? Sorry, 646. 646 and write the name of the file. So let's do that and let's see if it works. Chmod 646 this one.txt. All right, that worked. Now let's check the permissions now. Let's check the permissions now here. ls-l. See, something has changed. You see now here, the root user can read and write, or his group can only read, while others can read and write. Now, if we do that command that we did before that said less, sorry, we wanted to write something into it, right? Echo. Hold on. Why is this thing hanging? We wanted to echo wow into it and add it. It should not tell us permission denied again. We did it here before. We got permission denied. But if we do it here again, it will work. So, meaning that we now have permissions to change what is in the file. Please, is this complex or is ambiguous? Ignatius, you understood what I did? Wow, Jafar understood. Whoa. Ignatius understood. Samuel understood. I think I should be more afraid of you guys. Aishat, do you understand? Hi. Ayodeji, okay, Ayodeji understood. Aishat, do you understand? Ewo. Peter Banda, good. Peter Banda.
Can I ask a question, sir?
You are free. You are free. Hey, well, Marvelous is confused. Okay, your first class. Oh, David Mwanyi said makes sense, correct? Marvelous, don't worry, you understand. Yeah, who is asking the
So
question?
as
Please
to
go
go.
ahead.
Okay, I am. Can you hear me?
Yeah, go on. By all
Okay,
means.
okay. So I'm saying that when you are trying to change the permission using the chmod command,
Yeah.
I wasn't really seeing anything on my end here from your screen. I don't know whether it's my network.
It's
I
definitely your
didn't
network.
really get the full command. It wasn't showing at all.
So I was not listening. I wasn't just teaching you to cram commands, right? I was teaching you how you can generate your own command yourself. I don't know if Ignatius, am I right? Those are say they understood. I was showing you how to generate your own command yourself. Am I correct?
Yes, you are.
Yeah. So I was just showing you. So you can modify permissions however you want. So here's what I was explaining. If you are able to see the permissions, remember that our goal initially when we saw it. Can you see my screen now? Who was asking?
It's me.
Yeah.
It's
Can you see
showing,
my
it's
screen
blank
now?
on my end. It's blank here.
Is anybody seeing a blank screen? Any other person seeing a blank screen?
Okay, I can see it. I guess your
Everything
notepad,
is
I can see
crystal
it.
clear.
Oh, you have network issues. You have serious network issues. However, this
It's
Well,
class
clear.
is very.
I think I can see it. I think I can see it now.
So
Mm.
this was the initial permission we had, right? The initial permissions when we looked at the file was this. We saw ROW dash, arrow dash dash, arrow dash dash. So I said initially that this first three permissions belongs to the owner or the creator of the file. The second three permissions belongs to the group where that owner belongs to. And the last one is for any other person, others. Right? So from here, we discovered that the owner only had arrow means read, W means write, dash means X means execute. So meaning that the owner here only had read and write permissions, but does not have execute. If you understand the permission everybody have, then you cannot ask yourself how to change the permissions. That's the rule. Then in the group now, they can only read. Why I'm taking time to explain this thing to you is because when you're working with Linux, you will majorly be doing CLI, command line interface. You will not be clicking on buttons. So you have to take this and internalize it. So the groups can only read. Others too can only read. So we will want to modify the permissions of the file in such a way that others can not just read, but can write to the file. Anything is possible. So I just gave us a chart here, a binary chart, converting from binary to decimal. Very important. So here, because the read is on and the write is on, but the execute is off, we say 110. Here in the group, the read is on, the write and execute is off, 100. The same thing this side, 100. But if you want to make others to be able to write, meaning that you have to change here to W. And if you change here to W, you have to change that 0 to 1. And from our chart, 110 is no longer 4. 110 is 6. So you now have to go back in your terminal and write this command against that file, 646. It will change the permission, and then everybody will be able to write. Who has questions on what I just did? So if you are doing this thing now, you'll be feeling like a programmer, feeling like a hacker, but you still have a long way to go. So any question?
Hello, sir.
Yeah, go on.
I understand you clearly. Thank you. So now let me just get the command. chmod.
Yeah.
I need the full command, sir. chmod. Then what follows after that? So as to
So
change this
chmod.
permission now. Yeah.
So like I said, you can always know about any command. How do you know about any command? You write man that command.
Man and the
Man,
command. Okay.
exactly. It will show you how to use it. But however, what I did is chmod and I wrote the permissions, right? And I wrote the permissions and I wrote the file name. Now, you know what we did here is we did 646. Do you know that if we can also try, we can also write this command, we can write it into a chmod 110 100 110 and it will still work. It will still work. Let's try that. You don't need to. Oh, it has locked me out. Okay, let me log in again. You can also write the same command instead of writing chmod 646. So we'll say chmod 110 100 110, the same file. Okay, we need to specify the mode. Okay, specify the mode. Okay, this is the latest updates. Let's check the help. Let's know the mode. We want to go in binary mode. Okay, option. Then we need to specify the mode. Mode. Then in bracket we write the mode. So you see it's telling us ch mode, option. Then we'll put the mode. So if you don't put the mode, it believes that you are doing binary. Let me look for the mode. What's the mode for I'm coming, hold on. There's a mode I'm trying to remember. Mode for binary. Is it 2, mode 2 or mode 01? I should remember this. Okay. Okay, it's like they've deprecated that style. Okay. They've deprecated it to not work. When I started doing this in 2020, we write with the binary and it works. So stick with the 646. Put it in decimal. Stick with that method. That works also. That's a safer method for you. Jafar, I've done it. You can watch. You come back to the video and watch it, right? I don't want us to waste much time, so I'm just showing you, right? File and directory commands. Okay, I've talked about this. So there are other commands here. That's why you have your NetAccount portal. The other commands that you can always hold on. Why is my screen extra large? NetAccount. So if you have any more questions on this, please you can always raise your complaints in the group chats. Sure to answer you. But the job you are going to do, where is my this thing? Sorry, hold on, I'm coming. All right. Hold on. What am I seeing here? Where are my courses? Mm. Mm. Give me a minute. Mm. Mm. Okay. Let me log out. Okay. My learning. Okay. So that is how to work with the Linux shell. So one thing you should know is that almost every file in Linux is is a text file. So you have to learn how to work with text files, right? ls cd, I've talked about cd, mkdir, making directory, we've talked about that, cp to copy, rom to remove, grep is for searching for specific things. So you want to search for specific things. Cat, we've used cat. And so importance of text files. So text files very, very important. So for example, you can just come around and say, okay, I'm in home directory. So there's a popular file we used to check. So if I come here and say dot, I can say, let's see. This shows all the users and their information, right? We can see that the first user is the root user. I will not explain all these ones now, they are a bit deep. You can see where he's emanating from, Beam Bash. And if you go, you see all these things are different users, so everybody's appearing like a user. You see, where is Favor? Favor should be here. See Favor here. See 1000. See his home Favor, and he has Beam Bash privileges. So because Favor has Beam Bash privileges, that is why he's able to do sudo and enter Beam Bash and become a root user. Otherwise, he cannot escalate privilege to root user. I'll explain more of this as we go. That is if we meet again with Linux. All these ones that have the no login, meaning that they cannot log in. It's a standard stuff for people that are doing something on DevOps. You know how to create a user and then either give them being false or no login. Very important. Very important security setting. So this is another thing. So you want to see the password of everybody. Of course, you can't see the password you have to read the shadow files. You see, this is my password. It has been what? What do we call this? Is it hash or encrypted? This is my password, then encrypted. You see, the root user does not really have a password like that. But you cannot just become the root user. You see, we have another one, www data and all that. These are special users. because it's only me that is here. That is user that is created. So you can see my password. It does not mean that you can enter my password. You don't have the power, but it's just there. It is what it is. So if you're able to navigate file system very well, you'll be able to understand, the basics of file systems. So very, very important skill while you're working with it. Oh, we have a lab here. Please do the lab on your own. That says working with files. Do the lab on your own. Why this lab is just here? Just follow it. You will learn a lot. Another editor you can also use. Maybe you are not comfortable with using my own pattern. You can use Nano editor. I think Nano should be there. Nano editor, you can use VI. Those are editors you can use. You see, Nano editor is showing you a screen you can type. Oh, I made a mistake. Ctrl X. So I've created another file now that I don't need. Okay, it did not create it. It did not create it. So want to read that file we created before, .txt. You see. So in Nano now you can edit like you're editing in Microsoft Word. You'll be happy and be editing it. Let me not save it. No. So that's how you can also use Nano editor. There's also another editor called VI, but Nano is what many people use. VI is a very, very old, ancient editor. It's one of the first. So then, getting familiar with Linux shell, how to manage files and folders, a lot of them. This one will also help you. However, you can still go extra mile. That's what shit you. So Linux server client. So we've talked about servers before. The server is just like a computer that serves other smaller computers. So in networking, it's always most likely a client-server relationship. The client talks to the server, the files are on the server, say, hey, do you have this file? Give us. And then they must always talk to a port. So you can create a service, services and ports. If you come now and say, okay, I want to create a web service to run on this server, that's fine. You create the web service, but you must specify a port which it must talk to. So, and in computers, we have about 65,536 ports that can be used. So from port 1 to port 65,536, choose your port. But popular ports are ports like port 80. Port 80 is for HTTP. Port 443 is for HTTPS. And then port 23 is for Telnet. Port 22 is for SSH. Then different port. Port 21, I think, is for email services. Port 43, port 143, and all that. These are ports that people, talk. Yeah, encrypted. Samuel Okonji. Encrypted. So somebody saying something. What of Nmap? Is it an open source? Or Nmap is open source? Yeah, Nmap is open source. Nmap is not an editor. Nmap is used for scanning majorly, for penetration testing scanning. You don't use Nmap to edit. Nmap, the meaning of Nmap means network map. So it's not an editor. Ebuka, I hope that's clear. Yeah, so Nmap is not really an editor. So we have servers, services, and ports. Oh, I mentioned some already. They're already here. So you must talk to a port. A port must be listening, right? So port 2021 for FTP, 22 SSH. SSH is for remote control. Telnet, 25 simple mail, 53 DNS services, 67 and 68 dynamic host control, configuration protocol, 69. All these are very, very important protocols. I've said port 80 is for HTTP, 443 HTTPS, because I'm usually trying to break into HTTP or HTTPS, so I'm able to know it. So clients are programs designed to communicate with a specific type of server, right? So a client application, for example, you want to configure a website on a server, The client is the website, is the application or the program that is running. It could either be Apache or it could be Nginx running. But remember, it must be talking to a port. So that port is what gives people that are outside access to that client program. That's just what it is. So these are we don't have time to go through all these things. So please go and sit down and work on it. If you have any questions, drop your questions. Very, very important. Service configuration files. So usually configuration files are files we use to configure that application program. And they usually have an extension .conf, right? So they are very, very important configuration files. Exactly. Look at Nginx configuration file now. It is stored in etc nginx.conf, meaning that it's configuration file. So you can see HTTP include MIME type, default type. These are configuration that makes it behave the way it behaves. If that's what we're talking about, when you don't configure your server well, the attackers can find out and good luck. They will enter your system. This one is another configuration file. Apache has its own configuration file. So Snort is also an intrusion detection system. It has its own configuration file. So you have to go and check all these things and know. So there's no rule. You can just be anything. That's configuration for configuration. Then also you talk about device hardening. So for these are tips to harden devices. One way to harden a device is when you want to log into a device. Let's see how many minutes. Let me do something. When you want to log into a device, okay, we'll come back to that later. You avoid when you're using SSH, you disable this root account login, so somebody cannot log in as a root from external source. Somebody cannot log in as a root. So these are tips to harden your devices. There's also another way to harden it using what we call the SE, Security Enhanced Linux. Right? That's another way to harden your machine. Very, very important. Then talk about monitoring service logs. A lot of log files are there in Linux, and this one now is a very, very important log file. In one of the engagements we had, we poisoned this file. We were able to poison this file, and from poisoning this file, we were able to gain root access. Very dangerous thing. That authentication logs. So authentication logs stores the logs of everybody, all the authentication issues. Somebody was not able to log in, authentication log will store it. Successful login, authentication log will store it. Let me check if we can see it here. See if you can read my own authentication log. So I'm just using that one for example. So it should be in var/auth.log, right? Log/auth.log, yeah. Log/authentication auth.log. Okay, no such file or directory. Okay, maybe I did not go to the right place. So let me do cd . So I think var should be here. There's var here now. var/log. So does that mean I don't have authentication log here? I don't have it too. So my own is not using that one. However, we have boot.log here. We have boot.log here. We have openvpn.log here. So let's look at this boot.log. Oh, it's a binary file, so we're not going to see anything important. Okay, it's not even a binary file. So you can see these are file networking services that logged in. Different services that logged in. You will read it. So this is one of your jobs. But then that's why we have monitoring tools that can automatically read it and give you what you need. But then your job is to be able to understand what those things are telling you. Okay. Linux file system. We've talked about types of files before. I will not go over that here again. ext, nfs. I did that in our previous class. mbr, master boot record. Yeah. Roles. Okay, I've talked about roles. I've explained that for us here. Oh, is here. Directory, user, group, and others. I explained it to you. In fact, what we just talked about now is here. 000, permission, no access. What we just talked about is here. I'm glad I did justice to that before now. So you can just, work with it. And that is that Linux has GUI. But of course, they did not pay much attention to GUI because you don't really, I don't even think your distro will have GUI. But then when you're working with Linux, please acquaint yourself to using the CLI. That's the best thing to do, right? Acquaint yourself, condition yourself to always using the CLI, to always writing commands. You become better that way. You understand the system that way. So you can also install any application on your Linux. So for example, there's an application I know that is not here. I can say apt, or I can say, okay, let me go backward. To install, you just use sudo apt get, apt install, or apt get. Let's see. So I say sudo apt. Apt is a package installer. And it is I like using that HTML to text for my penetration tests. What did he say? Invalid, of course, is apt install. Yeah, look at it. So it's installing HTML to text. So if you don't know anything, just ask. It will tell you how to install it. So if you write a command that is not installed, it will just tell you install it because it's not here. That's how it works. So you see, it has been able to install. So HTML to text is what can convert any HTML page to text page. I usually use it for easy working when I'm doing anything. So these are very, very important things you need to do. Keeping your system up to date, right? Sudo apt upgrade. I think upgrade of okay, apt install. So for Debian or Ubuntu distribution, use apt install. But if you're using an app, they're telling you different. Pacman, and you are not using Pacman to do anything. You'll be using apt updates or apt. This apt get is not necessary. Apt also works, and all that. So processes and forks. If you discover a process is occupying too much space, you can just kill it. I think we did that in our last class. Kill it. And then there are also malwares, Trojan horses on Linux. So we'll learn, like I said, we'll learn about it later in the course and see how to prevent. Then there are ways to check for rootkits. So we have sudo dash check rootkits. Let's see how that works. If I have that, check rootkits. Hold on, let's spell it well. That means the command is not okay. It's a script. Okay, it's a script. It's a script that they used, right? So writing scripts is not even a difficult thing. I can write a script. So for example, if I want to write a script, now I can say, okay, I want to write a simple script that prints the working directory. So I can say nano tests.sh. I'll just use .sh. Then I start it with /bin bash. This is the first thing you have to do. So the command here, I think the command here should be pwd Ctrl X save ls. The script is here, but the problem with this script is that it's not executable. So I will change the permission, make it executable. Test.sh. So if we check it now, we discover that it's now showing green, meaning that it's executable. So I can now say I can just say test.sh. You see, it printed the correct directory. It printed the correct directory. So this directory means you are in the root directory, so it works. So writing a script is pretty straightforward if you understand how scripts can be written. So also, we can also pipe commands. Very easy thing. So as we go on in this class, we'll be able to see, basic ways of making your life easier. But I believe that with the assignment you do, you will enjoy yourself. Trust me. It might not be a walk in the park. It might not be a walk in the park, but if you're able to scale through, you'll thank me. You'll thank me. So any questions? Any question? You don't understand what we've talked about today? Ignatius, your hand is up. I can see Ignatius' hand up. Do you have a question? Please throw your question up. Ignatius, no question. Who else? Please, if you have any question based on what we did, based on anything I talked about today. Wow. Everybody understood. Okay. I believe everything is clear. I believe everything is clear. So, Joy, yeah, Joy, correct. Please, these things are things you do day by day, and you get better at them. You see, I just created a script immediately. Some people do more complex things in quick time, right? So it's not. I'm not an alien. I'm a normal human being. If I can do it, you can also do it. That I say, I'm not trying to motivate you. I'm trying to tell you what I mean is that if you put in the work, sure, you can do it. Find yourself working with big companies tomorrow. These are the basics. You should not be afraid of working with command line. You should never be afraid. So that's my aim. Trying to make sure that you're not afraid. You can be able to create directories. You can be able to do anything. Sometimes using one command, you can be able to do it. Piping it, searching for what you're looking for, finding anything. If you become used to it, you'll be able to do this. I remember when I started learning tech, a good friend of mine that was going to be a developer, then I told him that I'm learning Bash. He said, I'm suffering myself. Guess what? The company is working now. They had to force him to learn Bash. He was just lucky that they employed him without knowing anything about Bash. So Bash is just what you write. All these commands you're writing is called Bash scripting. Writing commands and making it work. It's called Bash scripting. All right. So I think by 10 p.m. Nigerian time on the WhatsApp group, you'll see the assignments. Please, you just try your best. Do it before Wednesday. I will be happy if you submit it before Wednesday. Say for creating this script, there's only one command that can be. No, not only one command though. I just put a simple script. Oh my God, you can create a script that checks for updates and automatically updates everything. As powerful as that. All right, you can create a script that checks for updates and automatically update your system. Yes, very, very powerful script. You can even create a script and create what's called a cron job. So a cron job waits for some time, or it sets the cron job that run this script at 8 a.m. every day. You don't need to be there. Cron job will do it for you. So it's one of those things. So yeah, you're welcome. All right, it's nice seeing you all again. Ignatius, Amarachi, and nearly confused me. Everybody, Idowu, I see you all. I wish you a good luck on this your journey in cybersecurity. Yeah. You will learn more. You will learn more. Just always be open to possibilities that can be shocking at times. You will learn more. Trust me. I look forward to seeing you all. Bring your questions and ask. Remember, no question is a stupid question, right? If you don't understand, is that you don't understand. It's as simple as that. Like Marvelous said, he did not understand. So Marvelous, you can go and watch our previous videos. We've done about 3 classes for the beginning of this course. So we have a plethora of videos that can be watched and you enjoy yourself. Trust me, they are educative, they're impacting, they have a lot of value to give. All right. See you guys on Wednesday. I look forward to seeing everyone again here. Thank you all.
Thank you too, sir. Thank you.